morning, everybody. This is Jamie with Warrior Spotlight. And tonight we are super excited. We are on location at the Traumatic Brain Injury Center. And we have Miss Jackie and her husband Mike, who are co-founders of this amazing facility. And we, of course, have my husband, who is my co-host. We're going to let Jackie and Mike give us a tour, and then we will get into some of their questions. So please just give us a tour and tell us what this is and where we're starting. And
So what we created here is we have basically a big community center where we do a lot of education for traumatic brain injury survivors, caregivers, families, and even healthcare professionals. So you'll see a lot of fleece hanging out. Fleece is actually used in some of our therapy programming, so it helps with hand-eye coordination, it helps with fine motor skills, helps with processing skills, and we got to a point that we had so many blankets 6 years ago that we had to figure out, okay, what are we going to do? And we started selling them, and now they become our major fundraiser for the year. And as you all know, COVID has really hurt nonprofits. But this community has been amazing. We're open every Saturday, and people have been coming in to shop. You can shop online on our website and pick up blankets. So we're still going to be okay. We're going to get through COVID, and we're going to be okay and come out great on the other side. So this is normally not a store. This is normally our main programming room.
okay.
And we have an occupational therapist here that has 35 years of neuro experience that is here 2 days a week with people that come in the door, brain injury survivors, but we also allow caregivers in because it's so important for caregivers to know what's happening as well as the survivor, right? So they learn together. We have a speech pathologist on staff that's here 4 days a week. We've been working with the University of Toledo speech pathology students for 19 semesters, master's level.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so they came in right when we first opened. We put on, we've got a huge kitchen that we put on in the back, so some of our programming includes learning how to lay out a menu.
Do you want to start us a tour through your facility, and then we can sit at a table and you can tell us
and tell us all
everything that
about it?
happens in the programming?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll follow you. You guys.
Do we want to, yeah.
Well, first tell us about the bike so I can get off it. Tell them.
So the bike is actually used in many physical therapy labs. So it is used for some of our people that have mobility issues so that they can get around. So the seat actually rolls the hips up and holds the hips in place. So it allows you just to be able to get around when normally your feet and your legs don't take you around.
Oh, that is
So
amazing.
it just helps make people mobile.
Awesome.
And we have a scooter here.
Big boy
I mean, we have
bicycle.
everything.
I like it.
Yeah.
Would you like to go put it back now?
I want to
honey?
make one.
Okay.
Like a food ball.
Okay, please, we'll follow you.
Everybody has the same fun.
Right.
So this is our main therapy room, and then office area over here. Our kitchen is probably where most of the therapy happens. So everybody knows that once you've had a traumatic brain injury, recovering social comfort and the ability to interact socially and not feel awkward, and the confidence, really just the confidence to speak and to go out into public. So we had a tiny little gallery kitchen, and in 2019 we had some wonderful donors help us out. And I haven't cleaned it for a while, obviously, because we aren't using it right now. But we have 7 different workstations in here, and on any given day we can have 10 to 25, up to 40 people in here. So they have the ability to come in here. We serve lunch every day. So they lay out the menus, they learn how to shop, because when we're open we have a huge pantry that they have to learn to go and budget and pick their foods and see what they enjoy. Then they come in here, they plan the meals, and every day we eat lunch together, which again is another wonderful social diffuser, right?
Sure.
Yep, and just to help bring that social etiquette back together.
Nice.
Normally we have a coffee bar over here, so we even have transition to workstations. So we have a whole coffee bar where people can learn to do the barista and make different coffees. But it also allows people that, and as many of you know, once you have a significant trauma, financial devastation can follow, right? So we have,
So where did the people, when you say these people, how do they get, like, when you said 12 people or 15 or however many people, where do they come from? How do you create that group? Like,
actually, it's all word of mouth.
oh, okay.
So we have a national following. Locally, people come in from anywhere up to an hour and a half to 2 hours away. They'll drive in to use the facility and to take advantage of the therapists.
Mhm.
But online, I work with, prior to COVID, I was talking to about 1,000 people a month. So I work with people all over the country.
Through social media, I mean, or is it like a
Social
doctor's
media.
office that would
No,
prescribe this, or?
no, there's no prescription.
Okay.
We're a nonprofit.
Hmm.
So we're a non-treating facility, which means all we do through here is we educate. We teach people how to understand what's happening to them. We teach their families how to understand what's happening to them.
So they got this injury from a car wreck,
Yes,
okay? So then they found out about you, so I wanna bring my friend or
Yep.
daughter here, and then,
but prior to COVID, we were open 4 days a week and they could just walk in.
mhm,
But most people will call
Mhm.
now, they'll make, an appointment with
Mhm.
me. And some we do over the phone, some I will bring in.
right?
And we'll be kicking off online programming 4 days a week, by the end of this month.
Like the Zoom stuff, or?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yep, but it will be on a closed network, so it's not gonna be something that everybody can get in, you'll get screened,
Uh-huh.
because you have to protect these people, many
Sure.
people
Right.
brain
I got you when you say
injuries.
close, it's right,
Yeah,
it's not
yep.
like Facebook Live like we are right now,
No,
it's more of a,
nope,
right, I
yep,
get it. Mhm.
yep. And then another thing that we do is we pack care packages. So as one of our activities and group therapies, we actually pack care packages, because what is the best way to give somebody confidence and really lift them up, to give them a purpose, right?
Mhm.
So when they can come in here and they can do something for others.
Sure.
And then we distribute them to different
Mhm.
neighborhood centers,
Mhm.
homeless shelters throughout the area.
Right.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And I can see what you're saying, when they had a traumatic brain injury, they don't, you mentioned that, like, they don't realize what had happened to them. Like,
Yep.
when I fell and lost my memory, I was, you know, knocked out or whatever, so then you're bringing them back, I got,
I have
So
a
it's-
significant brain injury, can you tell?
no.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst, I'm a 9.5.
Right, huh, really?
So my brain injury parallels what, the veterans face with the blast injuries.
Mhm.
I have a
How'd you
closed head
get-
injury.
How'd you get it?
Car accident.
Car accident?
Yep, I was told,
Let's
nothing wrong
finish
with
the
you.
tour
Oh,
and then
okay.
we'll
You have to keep me going.
That- that's okay.
Producer
So
here.
even
Director,
the
please.
refrigerator is a tool.
Mhm.
It's a tool to help people.
Sure.
So it's a door and door. So anybody that's in a walker, wheelchair, anything, all they gotta do is touch this. This door will open up. And then we keep it stocked with high protein items. So we teach them how to feed their bodies to nourish their brains.
Mhm.
So anybody can use anything that's in here. The only thing we didn't handicap accessible was the
Mhm.
sink, but
So basically, it's re-teaching them
everything,
that, right,
everything.
even though they're 30 years old
I
or
was-
whatever, you have to learn
Many
it
of us
all
are
over again.
toddlers.
Right,
Yeah,
learn
yeah.
it all over again, I got it.
I started from toddler up. Yep.
Really?
So we have, everything's handicap accessible, ADA compliant, all of our restrooms, and this was just in 2019 that we did this.
This is so nice.
That's what you were saying, it was a bar.
Very nice.
Yeah,
This was a bar.
and we put the kitchen in, we thought we'd have a $35,000 budget, ended up costing me 60.
Sure.
And we got it finished, what, 4 days before Bob Woodruff came? Cause we had to put a ceiling in here, there was no ceiling, no lights,
Right.
it was craziness.
It's complete build back out, basically.
Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
And then over here, so this is our main area where we have pretty much like a big community center and do a lot of our therapies. This room is normally our rec room, and we have ping pong, foosball, basketball, air hockey, and all different kinds of activities over here, generally, when it's not a store.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
then,
you got a lot to sell here, right on. Yeah.
and then in this room, more please.
Got a deal on that?
Sorry, guys, I'm catching up.
No, you're catching up, you're fine.
But this is normally our therapy room, because it can be quiet. So we got, the doors can close, so we have our group therapy in here. So our occupational therapist works on different coping mechanisms for every day to learn how to maneuver around the deficits we may face.
Mhm.
Right now, because I can't do Zoom, my brain doesn't allow it, my husband actually had to set up a custom, almost TV station or taping station for me because I can't look at a computer and talk on a Zoom call. So my last call with Bob Woodruff, he just put Bob on the TV, so I just sat there like I was just talking to Bob in the same room. And then, of course, I had two people watching me to make sure I didn't say bad words.
You learned how to cuss all over again.
Nope, it was the only vocabulary I had. About 4.5 years. We went nowhere socially. So this is, it's just a really nice quiet space. So when the speech pathologists, working with the master's level students and everybody, it's just somewhere that they can all focus.
Mhm.
And what's with these?
These are stock.
Okay.
They're stock. And these will all be made. What you see here and in the other room across the way that we'll show you, won't even last us through the year.
Oh, okay. Wow.
We just went online, so we have a huge, national presence. We bring in probably 65% of our funding is nationally,
Wow.
and I haven't written a grant,
Wow.
ever,
That's great.
right?
Right.
Because there's so many people that live in our shoes, right?
All right.
Mm.
They walk in our shoes and they live in our shoes and they know what it's all about. So when we created this to be a nonprofit that would provide all of our rehabilitation, our education, some hope and some inspiration, but all free. Everything we do here is free.
That's
Everything
amazing.
we do is
That's
free.
exactly how we're building Little Blessings too.
It is, and watching you as you outreach, you know, and watching the outreach, people that don't understand that when you work together, you can get so much more done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. This is an incredible facility. So we'll follow you on out that way.
And then we got a little bit more room on the other side. I love the bike. Do you know, I got busted because I was riding that bike and Channel 13 was in here. And what the fuck did they put on TV? They put me on their bike. I was furious.
Busted.
Furious. Furious.
Not only that, it made the highlight reel for the end of the week.
Oh, that is
Oh,
fantastic.
no,
This
not
is
really.
Oh, no, I missed that.
This is all right.
You're riding that bike.
That's when we know your brain injury was peaking.
So this actually is, everything's kind of a mess because we've never had an online store before. And this is our first year, and actually only the first, I don't even think it's been 90 days. But people will come in here, we have customers, this is our 6th winter, that will come in and they love to shop. So we have everything matched up, and if they don't find a blanket they like that's made out there, they'll come in here and they'll shop. And we had some sisters, this is their 4th year with us, they got 20 blankets last Saturday. So they just made it a tradition. So everybody in the family gets a new blanket every year.
How much are the
Oh,
blankets?
nice. They run 25 to 40.
25, and what's the 25? Is that
The
based on?
the $25 one is about a yard and a half, so 48 by 60.
Okay.
So something you'd sit in the chair with,
Mhm.
or a child would have. And then the $40 ones are 60 by 72. So they're going to cover your whole body when
Right.
you're sitting in the chair,
Side by
laying on the
side,
couch.
yeah. Mhm.
Yep. And then this weekend we're doing $5 off any blanket. So when people come in, if they pick out 10 blankets, they get $5 off every blanket.
So they're the, what do they call them?
The
Fleece.
no soap blankets.
No soap?
Yep, no so fleece. And there's somebody at Joanne's pointed that out to me. Remember when
Yep.
he
Yep.
would have to take me because I can't drive. Oh, do you have a plug?
Yeah.
Okay.
No sews, and then some of them I see have the like them one over there where they already,
They're all no sew. Those are made. The ones that are
Ones are-
knotted are made.
and then
These
the
are
ones
not
way over
made.
there. I gotcha.
Yep.
And then you have your Air Force,
Yeah, we
we
have
got one like that, don't we?
do, yes.
we have Air Force, Navy, Marines, Coast Guard, Army.
So we'll set up over here.
Look at all that fabric. I'm catching up, guys. There's a lot of cool stuff here.
Over here, Mike.
While you're setting up, I'm doing a quick little... This is called B-roll, ladies and gentlemen that are watching. This is called B-roll.
Over here.
On the ground or on the wall? On the wall?
Show it, Mike. It's
I see it.
in the. Sure.
This place is real nice, guys. Doing some awesome things here.
You can sit over here. Get in closer.
You guys ready to continue?
Yep. Just bear
Are
with
you
us.
sitting down, Andy, or are you gonna stand up?
I'm setting the camera down for them.
Okay, we're gonna plug in over there,
Plug in
brother.
over there.
Okay.
Here you
I need something, an actual table to
go.
set.
This one here's better. This is the one you need right here.
This is super long.
Where's she plugging at? She's an Apple, ain't it?
Yeah. There we go. Can you bring a...
Are you gonna tap hot? Oh.
It's got to be closer than this, but we're good.
Oh, I thought you were.
I'll just hold it. Hey.
Okay, I got you.
You want to put it on here? Or there's one there.
Sorry guys, my phone's going wonky now that I plugged it in.
Well, that's the weight of the.
I got the bike. I can sit down.
Oh, you probably are right about that, actually.
Remind me to show you the scooter. I got in trouble. I ran flat ass straight into the.
All right, we're good now. Thanks for the tip.
Go ahead, hon. Alrighty. Now we are going to get into the meat and potatoes of asking some questions. So let's get a little background. I know you were starting to tell us a little bit earlier, but let's get a little bit of background on you, Jackie, if you don't mind.
I'm a brain injury survivor. 6/6/11 was my injury date, so I have a closed head injury, which is also called a diffuse axonal injury. Very similar to, as we discussed earlier, the guys coming back with these blast injuries, because my injury doesn't show up on any scan, doesn't show up anywhere. So the doctors just go, oh, there's nothing wrong with you. You got a concussion, there's nothing wrong with you. Well, guess what? There's a lot wrong with me. And it took us almost 3 years. I finally got into clinical trials down at the National Institute of Health in the Center for Neuroscience and Regenerative Medicine. I got into a longitudinal study where they were taking, along with the military, they were taking some civilians, and we got in down there, and I did a 25-hour observational trial, and they told my husband to never leave me alone. We just chuckled, and he goes, she's working. So we found out just a little bit ago I'm kind of blind, which we kind of knew, but nobody had looked into it deep enough. I can see distance, but I have no peripheral, so it's called visuospatial issues, so I have no idea where my body is in space. So I can't see anything here down, I can't see anything past here on the side of my face, nothing. So I don't know where my body is in space. So when you see me walk and stuff, I'll have a hold of something, always, because it's my positioning.
Sure, I don't wanna say tunnel vision, but almost, it sounds like you only see, like
That's
you're
it.
looking in a cardboard tube, so to speak, or
That's
something.
it.
That's all I've got. That's all I've got.
So is this the reason why you wanted to start this?
It is,
Okay.
it is. You wanna go?
Yeah, so, Jackie had gone through the studies, and we came back and we couldn't really get any help here. And while we were down for those trials, they gave us a lot of what we ended up calling cheats or tricks or coping mechanisms. And they also gave us a lot of resources. And so Jackie had the idea for the business plan, or the model for the center. And, she woke up one morning and said, hey, I wanna do this.
But I can't read, write, or count money.
And we talked about it, and so, what we ended up doing to get things started was we wrote a paper together, and I got online and I looked up statistics for Northwest Ohio and brain injury. And there is, roughly two people a day have a serious injury that would take them to a trauma one and have them in the hospital for at least 2 days, in the Toledo area. And there's probably another 15 or so other injuries a day that lead people to the ED, that need some kind of treatment. So there's definitely a population here, but the numbers are pretty hard to get a true picture of what's going on with brain injury. But out of that, that's kind of, we took her idea for what she thought we needed to do for programming, and then the statistical background I had, and we wrote a white paper, and we just started talking to people. And I was really fortunate. A gentleman at the church we go to is connected with Mercy Help. He's on their board for their foundation, and we got connected to some people, and we had some meetings to get the ball rolling, and we put a lot of sweat equity into the place. So like we said, it started as a bar. So we got some money locally to help us get off the ground, but we put a lot of our own effort into it, and I think we really kind of surprised ourselves in the first year or two.
And is this what you do in a full-time position?
No, I've got a full-time position with
He's
my
gotta
water
have a
supplier,
job.
so I've got
Okay.
I've got a regular full-time job. Jackie's here
I
full-time.
get paid to work here.
Right, okay. So, do you have any veterans that are in this programming? I think we
We
talked
have
about it.
had some that come in and some that have been through. Right now, it's so tough because we can't have anybody in a group setting.
Right.
So to have people in here, as we get started with the online, which will kick off November 30th, we'll have therapy groups 4 days a week, and it's gonna be led by, an occupational therapist with 35 years of neuro experience, but she's also a licensed addiction counselor. So we also have the ability, other than those groups, if we have people who need to meet with one-on-one, we make appointments, and it just keeps everybody safe. With the brain injuries, we are high risk. I'm a long hauler. It hit me with a stroke on April 3rd, and I'm just getting to the point where I can wake up in the morning again, and I can do about 2 days on, and then it's 1 or 2 days off, and so I'm getting back to where I was, but, that was 8 months ago. So we just have to be so careful. So we had masks made, so we have masks available for many of the survivors that walk in here. Anybody that calls in or comes in and says, I'm a TBI survivor, we even put it on our Facebook page that we have masks available. We let them come in and pick out what they need. And we also help out, but prior to COVID, we had a food pantry here. So people could come in, and we would have gift cards available so that if people, it was a little tough getting from A to B sometimes during the week, and we could give them enough for gas and eggs and milk and, enough to get them through. And now we're starting to restock all of that stuff because the need is immense.
Right.
As you well know, in the military community, it's immense. It's immense.
So, how many people do you have in the program right now? No COVID, but do you have people that were prior to COVID, that were coming here being treated, and that have worked through it?
We're a non-treating facility,
Okay.
so we don't treat. They walk through the door voluntarily.
Okay.
So we have therapy groups available every day, and voluntarily, if they want to come in and participate, they can come in and participate. And the growth can be,
Participate in.
I was just gonna say, what does a therapy group look like?
well, we have many. So we have some that just focus on, like when we restart, everybody is just gonna need somebody to talk to and wonder, how am I gonna get through the day? What kind of coping mechanism do I need to get through the day? And when prior to COVID, they would come in here, and we would have those days where that's all we could do. It was just, we needed to figure out what can we do to get through the day. Barometric pressure affects us all, so when it would be raining or snowing or the cold would hit, you could just watch, and you would know where you would be that day. So there was always comfort food made. The wall colors have a purpose in here. We usually have the scent of vanilla going in here, because the scents even help change our
Sure.
minds. So the scent of vanilla will actually trigger the pleasure centers of the brain to release serotonin to help reduce anxiety and depression. So on a given day, we can have anywhere from 5 to 40 people in here. For our groups, we'll start out smaller. We'll start out between 5 and 10, and we'll see many of our people, we didn't realize the impact that the center had made. And we've had people with us. One gentleman's been with us since before we opened. He came in and helped us paint walls and stuff. I'm a brain injury survivor. Can I help? And yep. So we've had.
It's all through social media.
Yeah.
Found you just from,
Yeah.
you start a Facebook page,
Yes.
basically.
We actually started it from my
ICU
How's that for some
room,
sensory,
didn't
huh?
we?
Bam!
ICU
like that.
room.
I'm sorry?
We started it from my ICU room.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you had a very special guest here. Was it last year?
Yeah, in November of 19, Bob Woodruff was here, and Lee Woodruff was here in 17. And you know, one thing God told me, and God wakes me up every day. God's driving the bus here, there's no question. And one thing God told me was, you need to meet Bob Woodruff. And I would just giggle, really? I need to meet Bob Woodruff, right? So I had a donor. I said, donor. I said, if I can get Bob Woodruff to come in here, will you pay for it? Because I'm kind of like that. And he said, oh yeah, if you can get Bob Woodruff to come in here, I'll pay for it.
No, I don't know who Bob Woodruff is.
Bob Woodruff is the ABC World News anchor that was blown up in Iraq 15 years ago.
Okay.
He led the world news. He had been on the job for a week, and he was over, and his Humvee got blown up. And he lost half his head.
Wow.
His recovery is
Yeah,
miraculous. Yeah.
Huh.
And so he would not, or at the time that we brought Lee in, we'd only been open about 18 months. So you know what it's like to start a new nonprofit, right? And Bob wasn't making personal appearances, so Lee came in, and they are the most amazing people, you know, the most amazing people. And she just helped us out thinking in the right direction and putting everything together and walking through saying, you're never going to get a better to walk in here if you think they're going to make blankets. So that's why we put in some of the other goodies that we put in the rec center and stuff.
Right.
But then she was coming back in November of this year for a huge fundraiser. We do a big one once a year. And she was coming back, and she had an unfortunate circumstance. She couldn't make it. So she emails me. She goes, would you mind if Bob came? I said, no, I don't mind at all. It was amazing. It was amazing. So we actually cleared this out. We set this up as a banquet hall. And we had 100 of our closest friends and Bob Woodruff in here. And we catered everything in. We showcased the facility. And we provided many of our survivors just with the ability to have a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And then Bob, we've become kind of good friends with Bob. Amazing, amazing people. And if you look at our website, Bob and I did a Zoom call. I emailed him one day because you know how hard it is when you don't have an issue to keep your head up right now. And I just asked him, I says, can you just help me? Can we just have a chat and just give these people just a little window of light, a little bit of hope, and know that we're gonna get through this. And man, we had an amazing chat. We put it on the website, and it's there, and it's just there to let people know that this is real, right? And you're not alone. You're not alone.
So tell our viewers how they can get involved, how they can help you.
Do you wanna take over?
Yeah, you know, the easiest way to
I
get
have
in touch with
aphasia.
us is, we're the Traumatic Brain Injury Resource Center, and our website is tbirc.org. bcbcommunitybranch.org. And our phone number is 419-214-0555. And we are at 7430 West Central Avenue in Toledo. We're just past Meyer, and we're right behind City Barbecue. So, right now, we don't have normal open hours. There's usually somebody here, but because of COVID, we're not just a walk-in facility. So, if you want to stop in, if you need to talk to somebody, call, we'll pick up the phone. We can talk through things on the phone, and then we can set up a one-on-one meeting, if that's the next step.
And that's how we set people up and bring new people into the group so they can take advantage of what will be our online group therapies. Is I'll interview everybody and just find out where they're at in their recovery and see which group they fit best into. When we're open, they have the chance of coming, or the choice of coming in and sitting in different groups and doing different activities and deciding, you know, what where do I fit the best, what do I like, or some people don't like it. It's reality. When you come here, it's reality, and sometimes reality is a little tough to deal with. So people will come in, and some people leave, and 3 months later, then they come back when they're ready.
What are the ages?
17 to 75
17 to 75?
is what we've had so far.
Right, I
Yep.
gotcha.
Yep. I do deal with parents that have children that have had brain injuries, but that's all private. We don't have programming, so I deal with them individually on a one-on-one basis. We try and help people that are having difficulty finding the right health care, the right mental health, and just help steer them down a road, or some people aren't even aware that they need to see a doctor. So they can come in here and we just talk openly and just find out really what are you dealing with and what would change your quality of life.
And I know, I can't even remember how, I'm sure I came upon your site on social media, and then we just started talking then, because I can't, so many things in my brain, so I can't really remember.
Squirrel.
Yeah, squirrel.
We know about those.
But I know it's so critical when organizations like yours and like ours work together, right?
Yes.
So
It is.
We have the population of the veterans, right? And there could be a million different injuries that they're sustaining, right? But what's so unique about our organizations, I think they're hidden treasures.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so by us knowing about them, and we're in Michigan, you're in Ohio, right?
And we're not that far away.
Oh,
20
no.
minutes.
Yes,
Right.
not very far at all, right? But I think by us working together and sharing the information of what we do, because we're two totally different organizations that have focuses.
Similar crosses though.
Yes, we do.
We do.
We do. But the things that you do here, like, you know, for example, your blankets that you do for your fundraising, right?
Yep.
I think that's amazing. And that could be a source where we can say, hey, put that on our website and help with funding in that capacity as well. Come buy some of these blankets, they're pretty amazing, right?
Yep.
But what you guys do here is absolutely incredible. I think you're very incredible. I'm definitely feel honored to have met you and be part of a very small part of this to help you guys get your word out about what you're doing here.
Well, I think the connection is mutual. Many veterans, as you know, it's very difficult to come forward because you guys are just beat to death. I know it. I see it. I work with people all the time, right? And we want people to know that this is a safe place. You're not going to be judged when you walk in here. We're going to find out, okay, what's wrong and how can we help you improve your quality of life?
I think our missions are like the same.
Yeah, and that's
You know,
the
they
whole,
really are, and I think that's so amazing.
We just specialize in a piece, right?
Right.
Sure, and that's part of the Warrior Spotlight is, the reason for starting that is to get to the people that are isolated. And obviously now,
Yes.
even way before COVID, there are the veterans that isolate, and even, you
Yes.
know, that are at home, and through social media and through the channel, we're hopefully to reach them, and then they can see,
Give
you know.
them that window of
yeah,
light.
Exactly.
We're about
And
creating
helping
that
the-
community
Yeah,
too.
and connecting
Yes,
the
right?
dots, and,
Mhm.
and letting them know you're here, because awareness is the biggest thing. You know,
Yes.
a lot of people don't know that, you know, you were even here. I didn't. I didn't escape me. I Googled Woodruff and seen who he was. Now I recognize him, but again, I didn't know at that time.
Yeah.
Or when we were talking
Yep.
earlier, just, you know, But, yeah, it's great. It is, and last veteran we had, or last week, Dustin, it ain't what you know, it's who you know.
Right.
Sometimes it ain't what you know, it's who you know, and
That's
that's
exactly what
what
it
you were talking
is.
about,
That's
right?
exactly what it is.
Right.
It's,
You know, when we went down to NIH and CNRM, they gave us the tools
Okay, NRA, what is,
NIH is the National Institute of Health in Bethesda, Maryland, and CNRM is the Center for Neuroscience and Degenerative Medicine.
okay.
And they are, a military facility right across the street from Walter Reed.
Oh,
I
okay.
have aphasia, so it's late for me right now, and I'm tired, so
Oh, we won't hold that against
this
you.
is good.
She didn't just come from Sean's.
Must be a bar or something.
It is, bar on the street. No,
that door,
That's after the show.
brain injury.
drinking shabu.
Okay,
I chased too many squirrels
gullible.
without drinking.
Right, right, I gotcha.
You give me a
He
little
figured,
bit
he
of
poked on you there. a little
Oh,
bit,
yeah.
Good job.
He did.
Well, we do appreciate you guys taking the time, and showing us around, and it's an amazing facility, and we'll definitely
you.
put all of your information out on our website and our Facebook and get it out any way that we can
And
to help you guys.
let everybody know that, you know, it's a phone call, and that's all it takes to get started.
Right.
And it's a judgment-free zone,
Mhm.
right? So, there's no beating or bashing here.
Right.
We're only here to raise you up.
And that's the key thing, is because it can only take, you know, as everybody in this social media now, share, you know, how we share. We hit button, share this. And, so it's definitely starts and it just snowballs.
Yes.
You know, that's the hope. But the biggest thing is they have to ask for help, and that's a hard thing for a lot of, whether it's men or
Yeah.
military people, anybody, it's just making that phone call.
And that's why we're here.
Humbling
Like this,
yourself
a
and
connection.
asking for help,
Right.
you know,
Yep.
or some,
And by knowing that you're a trusted resource for us, right, and we're a trusted resource for you, really helps
It does.
in making our
Yeah.
circle bigger, right?
Yes.
Exactly.
Because that's what
Yes.
they want. They want that trusted circle.
Yeah.
And
Talk
don't
about
we
that all
all?
the time.
It's-
Yes, absolutely.
the big thing now is they're called influencers.
Oh.
No, they are, you notice that with the social media, what we're talking about, people get paid for that. Now, it's called influencers because they look, like you just said, you're a trusted resource, they trust you, you know, they look at, you know, little blessings, you know, and then they come and.
You guys are
the whole thing- No,
influencers
it's the
now.
truth. That's the big word I learned, is about people being influencers, you know.
Well, thank you guys so much for having us, and
you.
thank you, all of our viewers. We're super excited, and I know that we've switched the format from Warrior Spotlight to Little Blessings. Streamlining is what we were talking about, so that's where you're going to find us from now on. So you guys have a great night, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Thank you. So tell me, what is where you